Well, hello all. Another edition of What's Your Jump? So today I'm on Del Hollow Lake. I'm fishing. Fishing's not very good. And so today I just sat down and I want you and I to honestly, we're going to enjoy a cigar together. And I want to talk to you about something that I wish I'd learned earlier in life. I wish I had understood this, even though it's something that had crossed my path and was presented to me, but I wasn't mature enough to really understand what it meant. There's something out there called forming, storming, norming, and performing. Earlier today, I was having a conversation with my financial advisor, and through talking about this, and we were talking about the market, had a couple of tough days, and he'd asked me any questions, how you feeling about everything, and I appreciated the question. And it led us into this conversation to where I shared with him kind of what I'd learned and how I approach certain things in my life at times. And he said, man, sounds like a podcast to me. And as I came out fishing today, I kept thinking about that conversation. I kept thinking about times in my life where I wish I'd put this to play. I wish I had allowed it to have been a kind of a roadmap for me, a barometer to me. I wish I'd understood it a little bit better. So today I want to talk to you about it because I think we all need to hear it. And I hope there's something in it that may help you. There are phases in our life where we're going through things that honestly we try to control, and looking back, we just can't. I want to point out, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, just right over here, right above me here, there's something blue up there on the bank. Okay. So as I'm out here floating, if it goes out of camera, you'll know what I'm talking about. But there are phases in our life where things just don't always go like we want them to. So let's talk about the first one, and it's forming. There are times in our life where something new is going on. We're establishing a new relationship. We're starting a new job. We're entering. Our kids are going to college, or one of our young people. It may be you that you're going to college. So you're forming this new part of your life. Anytime we form something, maybe it's you starting a business. When we form something, we're establishing what it looks like. We're trying to figure it out. It's a new relationship that we've got going on, and honestly, it feels good. But flip side of it, we don't really have things figured out. What comes after forming? When what comes after a point in our life where something new, we're starting something, or something's ended? Maybe a relationship has ended for you. What follows us forming something new, or us going through something new, what follows that is the storm. Okay. It's this storm that comes along after we enter something new. For me, when I started a business, honestly, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know exactly how to approach it. I was a fish out of water. I say to people often, I say, I hope nobody figures out that I don't really know what I'm talking about. But when I formed when I formed the company, then the storm happened. I didn't understand what to do. Here's the reality. It's normal for a storm to follow that period of your life. It's normal for adversity to come. As a parent, there were so many times, for those of you who have raised a child, and our three daughters are wonderful in spite of all the mistakes that I made. And I'd like to think I'm a good dad, but the reality is that I've made so many mistakes over the years. So when anything new would form, a new school year, a new friendship with them, as a parent, it was always forming, and I always seemed to find that I was in a storm or they were in a storm. It could be just a relationship for a middle school girl wasn't going like it wanted to, and they would be in the storm, and then I would create a storm for our family. You may feel like you're in a storm right now. What I've found is in many cases we're either entering a storm, we're in a storm, or we're coming out of a storm. Anytime you do something new, something fresh, you try something new, when you form that, the storm's going to follow. Now, here's where how you handle the storm can be so important. I tried to make the storm go away because, I like to control things, and I've probably felt as I had too much power to fix storms at times, to make the storm go away for things in my life and for those around me. And here's what I want you to hear. It's normal, it's natural for the storm to occur. What's hard for us sometimes is allowing the storm to take place. What I've learned about every single storm, there's one consistent thing about every single storm out there, and it's that storm always ends. So as hard as it is, we have to let the storm take shape. We have to let the people in our life sometimes go through the storm. We have to understand that the storm is natural and storms are going to come, and we can't control it and we can't make them go away. I think about so many occasions as a father that I just made such bad decisions. And it was because I wanted to fix their storm. I wanted to make their storm go away. But now here's what I think as I reflect on that time in my life and even now is this. Nothing like a good cigar. It's that if I would allow the storm to take place, if I would have not tried to just fix all of the things going on in any situation. See, as a parent, when we try to make their storm go away, when we try to fix the storm, what always happens, I think, is we're sending the message to them is that we don't think they're capable of getting through the storm on their own. We're saying to them, listen, I need to fix this for you. We're saying to them, I don't believe that you're capable of weathering this storm on your own. And that's not our intention. When we don't think we're capable of finding our way through any period of our life, when we go asking for help and someone's not willing to help us because they know they're going to enable us, I think what we're saying to ourselves is we don't feel like we're capable or the people around us aren't capable. With any new situation in life, with any phase in your life, when you form something new is started, you're starting that business, you're starting that new job, or you're ready to take that leap, to make that jump, to chase the life that you deserve. You've got to know this. There's going to be a storm that follows. You know, I often talk about, and excuse me, I'm going to relight this cigar. You all have heard me talk about when I started my job or when I started this company. And I left the company that I've been with for 30 years. When I did that, I was scared and I expected everything to go exactly like I had planned. Well, the reality is that it's similar to when I jumped out of that plane. When you jump out of a plane, and now you've heard my story of jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. When you take the leap, that parachute doesn't catch at first. Okay, when I left that plane in that tandem jump with the U.S. Army, the storm happened quickly because all of a sudden I'm racing towards Earth and that parachute hadn't come out and hadn't grabbed. Understand that storms are natural and they're going to follow a lot of phases in your life. But when we can understand and begin to really know that these storms are a natural part of the process, I think we handle it just a little bit better. Now, following the storm, when the storm subsides and the storm ends, now we got a chance to go into this period called norming. It's this period where things start to normalize just a little bit. Things begin to settle down. Think about when a storm blows through. There's that period afterwards where you know, man, the storm just ripped through here and things have now settled down. There's a calmness and there's a comfort in the fact that, okay, everything, we got through the storm. Things have settled down. That blue thing, that kayak up on the bank that's over to my right now. Think about this. It is about 15 to 20 feet above the level of the water that I am now. And when I looked up at it today, I thought, how in the world, in the middle of the woods, up on this bluff, how did a kayak get up there? It's not physically possible, I don't think, for anybody to have taken that kayak and put it there. See, what happened, at some point there was a storm that came through and the waters rose. The waters got so high that this kayak blew away. It got away from somebody's boat. It floated back in here and it got left up on that bank. But see, the waters rose as they do in our life sometimes. And we feel like the water's coming up over us and we can't breathe and we're going to drown. You got to know this. The waters will go down. The waters will subside and you will enter this period of normalcy. Okay. The period after a storm is this normal period of time where now things settle down and you can get your breath and you can begin to look around at everything going on around you and appreciate the fact that things are beginning to improve. Okay. And listen, I don't know how long the storm lasts. And honestly, it's different in every situation. And I don't know how long that period of normalcy lasts where honestly, the storm's behind us, but we're not really getting the momentum that we want, but we know that things feel better. Once you get through that period of normalcy, when begin to normalize, now all of a sudden we have an opportunity to really see that performing phase begin to kick in. And this is where the magic is. But the problem is we want to form something and immediately it turn into performing. And the reality is it just doesn't often work that way. There are these phases in our life that we just have to allow things to take place. As a parent, I was sending the message to my kids all too often that I didn't believe in them, that they could weather the storm on their own. I wasn't allowing them to learn from the battles of life and for them to gain that confidence that every time a storm comes, that they were strong and that they were capable. Here's what I know is that you are strong and you are capable. And when the storms in your life come, they often follow a period where you were willing to jump. You were willing to start something new. You were willing to chase some level of your life that honestly you weren't willing to chase before. When you do that, then that storm happens and we freak out. We get scared. We think, oh my goodness, the storm is here to stay. So we make decisions and our actions don't say that we understand that the storm is a normal part of this thing and this journey that we call life. If we can approach it as though, listen, storms are going to come and storms are going to go and then things are going to settle down and things are going to be normal and things will feel as though, okay, we can do this. It's that period of time when we start to see things settle down and we start to think to ourselves, all right, you know what? Maybe I can do this. It's when that parachute, it went out and the parachute caught. And now I know, okay, everything's going to be all right. The hard part here is when you're in the storm of wondering if the parachute's going to catch. It's you trying to fix the situation and you making decisions that honestly don't help the storm end any sooner. It's you taking on a role. And I hope you just heard that hoot owl that's talking to me back here and probably saying, buddy, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm sure that hoot owl is right. But here's the reality. Our lives take on these different phases. And every phase can be wonderful. The storm doesn't feel wonderful, but the storm, it's teaching us something. And I hope if there are people in your life that you love, and there are people around you that are in a storm, that you know that it's not always right to enable them. And as a parent, I enabled. Listen, there have been too many times when I was in the storm and you all have heard me talk about my oldest daughter and the health storm that she was in, and she's doing great right now. But there were times that the only way I knew how to try to ease the storm was to throw money at it. You know, I would just throw money at it. And my wife would say, you can't fix it that way. Listen, I've thrown money at things over the years at times where I didn't have any money. But that's the only thing I knew to do. And as I get older and I begin to really think about life and think about the things that I've learned from all the mistakes that I've made is that you can't force yourself, your situation, or the people you love through the storm. You got to allow that storm to take place and you've got to learn from the storm. And then you got to appreciate that period of time that is just normal. It's that time where everything settles down. The water's calm. I'm in the back of a cove. It's windy outside this cove, but back here, I'm out of the wind, and it gave me an opportunity to share with you what's on my mind today. Once you come out of the storm and you allow that normal period to take place and you don't try to force the normalcy, the normalization of your life, if you don't force that if you don't force yourself through that too quickly or try to force the people that you love through that period too quickly, I think what you'll find is we'll all begin to get that momentum. Okay. And with momentum comes that confidence. With that momentum comes that spirit of here we go. Because it's difficult to perform if we haven't learned from the mistakes that we've made. It's difficult to perform if we haven't recognized that, you know what, I could have done that differently. But I think more than anything, it's recognizing that all of these phases in our life, they're normal. It's normal for you to be scared to try new things. It's normal for you when you do to then get scared when the storm hits. It's normal to come out of the storm and think that that's the last storm that's ever going to come your way, because we know that's not the case. Storms are always going to come. But performance happens after we've gone through these phases. Now, here's the reality. I'm guilty of thinking, whew, finally I got through that storm. These phases occur over and over in different situations of our life. And the reality is you can be there can be different things in your life that causes you to be in each of these phases at a different time. You could be forming something over here while something else is normalizing. You could be in the storm here while something else in your life is allowing you to perform in a great manner. This is always going on. So what I want you to know today, and what I want you to know is on my heart to share with you, is that trust yourself. Trust those people around you. Trust that when they're in a storm, that they're capable. And sometimes what they don't need is for you to try to bail them out. But what they need is for you to support them through the storm, for them to know that you're there. I'm listening to a book right now from Mel Robbins called Let Me. And one thing that Mel says in this book, she says, listen, we can't control the thoughts of other people, that we can't control the thoughts of adults. Adults have to figure this out themselves. And sometimes we have to get to the point where we're ready to take action. And the storm creates the action. When we're in the storm, it's when we say, okay, I got to take hold of something. And I've got to make sure I'm controlling all the things. Well, you can't control the storm, but you can control how you handle things in your storm and the storm of those around you. So what I hope for you is that every single one of you, that you're in this period of life that's normal right now. I hope you're in this period where you can look around the corner and see the performing stage of whatever situation you're in, and it's about to take place, because I am rooting for you to find that in your life. But I do want you to know that all the things that you feel, they're normal. All the phases that we go through, they're normal. And rarely do we go from forming to performing. We have to go from something new, from something fresh to something exciting. It's that new relationship that seems perfect, and now all of a sudden there's a storm. Listen, at Christmas, we love a good Hallmark movie, and you all know the situation. With every Hallmark movie, they meet, they fall in love, things are going well, and then something causes them to fall out of sorts. The storm happens, okay? And then they're in their separate places, and their life settles down a little bit, and then they recognize and understand that was healthy, and they come back together, and then the relationship takes off. I wish we could all live our lives in full-on performance mode. I wish we could all live our life at a time when we were always performing, but it just doesn't always work that way, does it? Some of you are setting on a decision that you need to make today. Many of you are setting on a decision that you want to do personally or professionally, and you're wanting to start something or begin something, and you need to do that. I think you need to jump. You don't need to be scared, but you need to be aware that when you do that, the storm will come. The rains will happen. The waters will rise. Your kayak will get left up on the bank. You'll think you're going to drown, and then the waters will start to recede, and then you'll look up and you'll think, okay, I've got this. And then you enter this wonderful, wonderful period where life is good and life is grand and life is golden, and it's like you've always dreamed. But just know, to get to that point, you got to go through these phases. It's forming, it's storming, it's norming, and it's performing. And it's all normal for us to go through all those things. Hey, listen, today I've been fishing, and I've tried everything, okay? I've thrown every bait. I haven't caught a fish, but I will tell you what I got. While I didn't catch a fish, I did catch some perspective, and it's perspective that I've needed all of my life, that were kept me from making so many bad decisions as a husband and as a father and as a friend, as an employer, as an employee. But we learn from those mistakes. And if you will keep pushing and don't let the storm beat you up, it will pass. It will settle down. And in front of you, I'm convinced, is one of the greatest periods of your life that you can look back on and think, man, the success that I'm having right now is so wonderful. But it took the storm. It took that period of normalcy for you to get into that performing phase of your life. Listen, I'm rooting for you every single day. Always know I am in your corner. Swagger on, y'all.